Hi, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dawg, and this is the Dawg Pound. Today, we've got a very special broadcast. It's going to be a cage match coming up between two contenders, Elise Kephart and Anthony Alagona, the two best BDC trainers in the world. No, take that back. They're not the best in the world, the best in the universe.
That's what I'm talking about.
You can't figure out BDCs on other planets. I mean, these are the very best of the best. They're both personal friends of the dog. I don't take credit for their talent, but I sort of discovered both of them.
Sure did.
So anyway, yeah.
But I'm secretly your favorite.
Okay, starting off with the Dawg Pound today. With Miss Bobbie Herron had to beg off. She's got a Women in Automotive event today, and Dave O'Brien, he's got a client today, and I think Jennifer's going to show up, Jennifer Briggs, anytime now. But starting with this guy.
Last week, I'm so sorry that I couldn't make it. I was having technology issues. But this week I am ready to go, ready to be a part of it.
Yeah, we're not allowed to do socially unacceptable terms like retarded, but still, I'm glad you got your stuff working, Patrick.
Yes.
Glad you're with us.
Jim.
Okay, from New Jersey, we're going to talk about a Jersey boy. Here he comes. Anthony Alagona.
What's up, Mr. Ziegler?
Tell me about you and your business.
Say that again, Jim.
Tell me about yourself and your business.
Well, I'll tell you what. I just opened up an off-site solution for dealerships. So I provide an off-site solution to business development centers. If the dealer doesn't feel like they want to do it themselves, they can pass along to me and my team, and we'll engage for them. I've been doing it for about a little over a year on the off-site model, and it's been very interesting and very fun.
Fantastic. I understand that you are absolutely killing it. You got your off-site BDC. You understand the car business. And I'm just glad to have you on the broadcast as our guest this week. And now, the YouTube Diva herself, my friend, the daughter we never had, Elise Kephart. Hey, kid, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jim. Thank you.
Okay, well, tell us about what's happening.
So in less than a week, I think it's a 6-day countdown, we are going to work leads, mirroring ourselves essentially as a BDC rep, right? Putting both our nose to the grindstone on the expectation or our different processes, kind of side by side. So you and Anthony Alagona are going to go heads up in a cage match. You're still working out the rules. I understand you had a SmackDown today, but anyway, you're still working out the rules. You and Anthony are going to go heads up. He takes a lead, you take a lead, however you finally settle on the rules. And then you're going to be working in a real dealership, right? Yes. Yeah.
Real customers.
Real customers. Yeah. Yeah.
Anthony, real customers?
Yes, sir. Real customers. We're going to be jumping into a dealership CRM tool, and we're going to be making the calls from the appointments that show location. So we're going to have phone numbers that mirror the dealership's location.
Are you capable of doing this?
Say again?
Are you capable of doing this?
Absolutely. That's what I do every day.
Okay. Elise.
Yes.
He said he's going to bury you.
How'd those words change?
That's cute, but I think anybody that's listening to this call can agree that at the end of it, it's going to be the results that show. I don't want to call you under the bus, Anthony, but I've seen your 45-minute lives where you fail to maybe even set one appointment in 45 minutes. So just curious.
God, you didn't even set an appointment. Oh no. Oh God.
I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to say that?
Okay. Listen, only one of us has a list to do. I was waiting for an off-site sign-up, so I guess I must be doing something right.
Okay. So anyway, we it was on. Okay, and by the way, me, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dawg himself, I will be watching this thing with bated breath. Okay.
Oh my, yes.
Okay, it wouldn't be a Dawg Pound broadcast without the Mad Russian. How you doing, big guy?
Listen, Jim, I'm back in New York, and after you guys make appointments, this is when I come in because when dealers sell a car, they got to make money. They make money with my help in F&I, selling F&I products, forming reinsurance companies, building wealth through the finance department. So I think this is going to be a phenomenal broadcast because without you, there are no customers in the showroom. And without customers in the showroom, I'm out of business.
Okay, so this is Max Zanan. You're in New York today. Last week you were in Spain.
Yes, sir.
Jet-setting Russian. Okay. I am having the best time today. Let me see if I can get all of us on the screen again. Okay, hang on 1 second. Patrick, tell us a little more about Patrick.
It's a lot of you guys already know me. I've been in the car business for almost 25 years now. I was just recently promoted from a sales manager at one of our groups one of our stores to a corporate role in our group. Digital marketing director. I build all the CRM processes. I audit everything to make sure we're tracking everything correctly. And then I jump in if a manager needs a Saturday off. I go to the store. I either fill in, do F&I, sales manager, anything that they need. But primarily what I do every day is make sure that the money that we spend is actually returning us an investment on that. And then I adjust it as we go. So far, everything's going well. I really like it. I prefer the corporate role to the daily grind of the 8 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. That's for sure. Especially now, obviously recently getting married, having the baby coming and stuff. So it gives me
a second. You recently got married, right?
I did in March. Yes, March 10th.
I didn't know that. Congratulations.
I thought you were gay.
Nah. Hey, we all shock each other. We all shock each other time to time, right? So it allows for a lot more time with the family, and especially with the baby coming is important.
Congrats! I didn't know you were married and have a baby coming. That's awesome.
Yes, we actually just announced we're having a little girl due October 23rd.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Did you have one of those reveals where you basically pop a balloon or something?
No, I've been watching those over the last year during COVID and quarantine. Man, those things are going horribly wrong these days. People are dying from those things. I'm gonna leave that to other people.
Fantastic. Okay, guys, what's new in the car world? I bought a car yesterday, over the weekend, actually. It's been a 3-day adventure. But what's happening in the car world? Elise, lead off. What's happening with your dealers?
As far as that's a pretty generalized question.
Well, I guess I'm going down to the inventory shortage right now. Sure. Is what I'm sort of getting, I've been on a couple of car lots.
I saw a good post. This is a good topic. I saw a good post the other day. I think a lot of people are letting it get to their head and going, oh, things are going great right now, making so much money, balling on the gross. Oh, it tastes so delicious. But here's the thing. Things are going to normalize out again. I think the advantage right now is all the dealers are on the same page. I'm seeing obviously good old supply and demand. The inventory is lower, but the grosses are higher. So I guess at the root of it, inventory at some point, don't know when, it's an uncontrollable on whenever that's going to normalize out. But at the root of it, still making sure that you know how to take care of your customers and that you are going above and beyond for your customers. Because when inventory isn't like this, a lot of people are going to fall thinking, again, because I think they just let it get to their head that things are so good and it's all about, but really it has a lot to do with the supply and demand right now for a lot of the high grosses.
Supply and demand. Now, see, I've been around the car business 47 years. I've seen all sorts of ups and downs and cycles and paradigm shifts. This is unique.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
Got nothing to sell.
I was having a conversation with my dad recently. Obviously, he's a dealer, has a couple of stores out here. And he said that for the first time he can remember since probably the late 80s, early 90s, the power has shifted from the customer back to the dealer. And everybody's going to take advantage of it. But like Elise said, it's going to shift back. So we have to make sure that we're prepared for this, because if you're riding the high horse, just like, oh, the grosses are great, and you get away from, selling the actual volume the manufacturers or your buyers are bringing to you, you're going to end up with an overstock of inventory that you cannot sell, that you can't make any money on. And then you're going to end up, you're going to look in your Viata or whatever you use to track your inventory, and you're going to see that 90-day spike happen. And then before you know it, you're selling them $2-3 grand back a book just to get out of the car and hope that you have somebody like Max on your team to help you generate revenue on the backside of it.
Right. But listen, guys, I have to say that looking at it from the dealer's perspective, this is the best time of their lives. I mean, you're right. The power finally shifted, and internet doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't matter the research they did and how much is the invoice and how much is the dealer cash.
Who cares?
Right. Nobody cares, guys, because you can come into the dealership with all the research and they will show you the door like in the good old times before the internet and say, hey, I have it in this color. It's 4,000 over sticker. And if you don't like it, have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Exactly. Yeah. Hey, Jennifer Briggs just joined us. I didn't realize Jennifer was backstage. Hi, kid. Get your mic on.
Can't hear you, babe.
That's right, because I snuck in backstage and muted myself. I'm sorry for being late. I actually had something run over. We were just having some conversations just like this.
In this group, we call it pulling a Patrick on us.
Mine was human error, though.
Yeah, mine might have been a little bit of that too.
I think one of the things, to the point that Elise made in starting this conversation is, it's a perspective. If you're being bummed, that's not the way to do it. We need to actually we need to sell units and we need to make money. The grosses are coming on the new car. And like Max was saying, I remember the first time standing in the middle of a dealership, and this was back in 2002. And I heard someone say that to one of the customers, listen, if you don't like this deal, I have 10 other people who want to buy this car. He didn't use as polite words as Max did, but it is that. But what we've got to do is not necessarily just focus on the now. When you're focusing only on the now, you're leaving deals on the table later. This is the best time to get more aggressive and create a sense of urgency with your lease pull aheads. This is the best time to really look at mining and acquiring your inventory for CPO sales in your service lane. This is a time for you to start thinking about how you can take this wave and keep it at that high point when the rest of the market crashes. But if you're just sitting around taking your grosses and not planning for the future or not utilizing this momentum to take you through the rest and the impending constriction, then you're really missing out.
Well, let me tell you, I got a new car yesterday.
What did you get?
The Lincoln Aviator, the one I've been trying to get for years. And I was able, number one, I was able to get out of my lease on my other car for thousands of dollars more than we ever thought. Number one, there was so much more I could actually roll out of a lease and get money back. But then, get this. I go to the dealership and they've got 5 Aviators in stock. And I didn't take the deal. I drove away and my wife called me. She said, Jim, I've been on the internet. There are no Aviators in all of Atlanta. Your dealer's got the only ones. So I made a distinct U-turn back to the dealership. So I locked up the car when I had the deal. Here's what went down. Absolutely. A woman calls up and looked at the car yesterday. The same car I'm getting. And she wants it. And it was the only one like it.
Late.
She snoozed and loosed.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Imagine that.
Now, Jim, let me ask you, because I couldn't join you guys last week when you guys were talking, especially on the digital retailing side, how much of your car deal was a part of the digital retailing phenomenon.
Let me answer that question for you. It was exactly 0%.
No, it was Jim Ziegler. I mean, come on. I picked up a phone. I called the president of Ford. Come on, Jim Ziegler does deals like nobody else does.
That's Ziegler retailing right there.
I think
And the dealer knew me. I mean, come on. Hey, it wasn't like the consumer would buy the car. You know, it was a little different. Anthony, what are your dealers experiencing with the inventory shortage?
Yeah, some of them have an extreme shortage, and some of them have plenty of inventory. So it just depends on where in the country they are. I have a BMW dealership in Bakersfield that has no problem with inventory right now. And then I have dealers over here in New Jersey that have like 10 cars on their lot. So it just depends on where the dealer's at and their mindset.
That's the beauty of New Jersey. I've done a lot of business in New Jersey, and I show people, and I say, this is an inside trunk release. It's actually illegal in New Jersey because if you're in the trunk, you're supposed to be there.
That's great. It's like Joe Pesci.
Oh golly. Max, what is the most poignant thing we need to talk about this week? What is the most stressing issue?
I think it's a double-edged sword. They are having a time of their lives, and the gross profits are ridiculous, to say the least. But I feel that 70% of dealers are completely paralyzed by these gross profits. Mm-hmm. And like Elise said, not only that it goes to their head, they are convinced that the inventory shortage has nothing to do with it. Right, them, they are the genius. They cracked the code.
They cracked the code, absolutely. Yeah.
All of a sudden, all that shit that they've been doing for all these years that didn't work, now all of a sudden it works.
Right.
I want to tell you right now, at a Toyota dealership, if they had the inventory, a monkey with a note in his mouth could sell 20 units standing out in the middle of the lot.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So I think, like Elise said, when they do fix the inventory shortage, the 70% of these dealers would not know what happened. And I think the amount of dealerships that will be for sale and the amount of consolidation that will take place is going to be epic. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Because all of a sudden, overnight, you're going to go from a genius to a retard.
Yeah.
What you're gonna see is a lot of the public companies dumping some of their stores.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, I wanted to ask Jennifer this specifically because I know she's more, especially very, very well versed in buy, sells, operations and stuff. Jennifer, we always said that after COVID and all that, all these dealers are gonna go out of business and all that nonsense. Do you think it's actually, because I didn't see it that much through the pandemic, but now as we're coming out of that and the inventories, do you think that's going to play a bigger role in it than, let's say, COVID did last year?
I'm sorry, I'm adjusting my necklace here. I didn't think dealers were going to go out of business because of COVID. I think that we are a resilient bunch and we are really good at adapting. The only issue is that we're going to see the same type of thing that we saw in the last recession. Right. And if those of you watching or on the show were involved, and I was in Michigan with a dealer group during that time, and I think we felt it even more so than other people. Literally, as running the accounting offices, I was sending drivers to credit unions to cash contracts that day because that's how lean we were running things. And it happens when people are market driven instead of management driven. And I do think now we are going to see a lot of points coming up. And will it be as aggressive as the residual bubbles that affected all of the inventory back then? I don't know that for certain. I don't know if we're going to see the types of franchises being rescinded that we did back then. But to a degree, I 100% think that's coming for stores that don't realize that this is a market trend. And I'm so sorry that I laughed while you were talking, Max, but I just couldn't help it to think. And we do let our pride get in the way of profit so often in this business, but to think that it's just us and it's not market driven when we weren't this profitable before, and we've made no changes whatsoever to think that that's somehow us and not that the market is swollen. To be prepared, you need to be management driven. And I mean, the timelines will work out perfectly. I'll probably be looking to pick up a couple of points. So maybe I don't want to give them that advice.
Now, maybe Jennifer, do you think that maybe we'll see less new car franchise stores coming on board after this versus what we're typically used to seeing?
I think we will see just like we did before when this happened. And I think for a lot of people who are, gosh, I hate to even be able to phrase it this way. I don't have the 47 years that Jim has, but I mean, I've got 19 now. And I think that we will see stricter requirements, just like we saw before, from the manufacturers on what your operations need to look like, what your benchmarks are as far as percentage of revenues for expenses. I think that we are going to see, it's going to be a lot harder to get a new car franchise without proven performance and being able to meet those expectations.
So you're definitely going to have to be a cleaner dealer moving forward to get new dealerships than you had been maybe in the past.
You know,
your financials and everything in order, much more so.
And for the buy sales that I have been personally a part of, the majority of those have happened in areas where it was greatly impacted by the crash of the big three. So I feel like maybe we've forgotten a little bit of what those restrictions were like. Well, some of us still have nightmares about it and PTSD as far as that goes. But in general, right, we get so excited about the market being up that we do forget that. And I would love to actually, maybe we should invite every once in a while, maybe Jim, invite some manufacturing folks to ask those specific questions, because I can speculate based on what I've seen previously and what I see in the market data now. But I would love Patrick to ask that question directly to
a manufacturer.
Yeah, manufacturers actually, and someone in charge of those franchise allocations. Yeah, I mean, asking for a friend.
Elise,
yo,
what's going on with the BDC world? Tell me what changes have taken place now. The BDCs are having to shift focus. How's that working out?
Well, I think it's going to be a matter of opinion, but the one of the biggest struggles that I have seen is the adjustment to a lot of features that are on the same phones that we've been telling our BDC agents to call for the last 10 years, just, smile and dial. Well, there's a lot of features on phones now that sometimes even come defaulted, like silence unknown callers, that really put the algorithm into effect as far as the dials that you're making. A lot of times, do you realize that those dials are just going straight to a voicemail, which is a transcription, which is a text, and someone's phone might not even ever ring anymore with features like that. So really the equation then becomes, all right, well, how do I take the other pieces of the equation and consistently, just like a Michael Jordan, right? How do I consistently take the other pieces of the equation and get it to my highest close tool, which is still at the root, the phone call. But as far as what I call blind dials, I've seen a huge decrease in that. As far as that trust wall from the moment when a customer who submits a lead, that goes into the CRM, to the agent or the BDC rep making first contact or getting that customer to respond, there's still a struggle bus there. That typically, if you ask any agent, that typically is the hardest part. You can't really move or progress forward with anything until the customer actually willingly takes their fingertips and either picks up the phone for you. And again, their phone might not even ring. Okay. And then, or actually just takes their fingertips and all the stuff they got going on in their lives and respond to you. You're at a car dealership. So really figuring out that algorithm of how do I get that trust wall to, that trust wall down. How do I take, knowing that the customer isn't blindly necessarily going to pick up their phone for me right away, like the old days. How do I convert the other pieces of the equation, right? To get that first contact down. That's the name of the game now. I've realized, and I think on Monday, this will be a good thing. What I've realized is the equation is you can connect with a lead that might be farther, that maybe is 10 days old or 12 days old or 14 days old. but the probability at that point is not always it's not in your favor at that point. Why? Because a lot of times that call goes, oh, you did. Oh, congratulations. What did you buy? So what does that mean? You got the brownie point for all the dials. You got the brownie point for everything else. You made the connection. Good job for you. But knowing that, once you make the connection, that the probability
Lisa, I want
is
to
in your
back you
favor.
up for a second here,
Yeah.
because I think the point that you made, I want to make sure everybody watching understands this. I am a T-Mobile customer.
Yeah.
T-Mobile automatically will flag calls as scam likely, depending upon how it reads it.
Yep.
Now, in addition to cell phone providers doing that, one thing that I discovered it wasn't quite 2 months ago. I don't know, days are all blurring together right now with all these record-breaking grosses and units and everything, right? But there was an issue with a very large call tracking and click-to-call provider in our space where their numbers that they were utilizing in a click-to-call system were also getting flagged as
potential spam.
And never getting through. And I tell you what, if I had not personally had clients utilizing that tool, I probably never would have heard about it. And I don't think enough dealers realize that. So before you jump onto that next point, I just wanted to reiterate to folks, like, if you're not constantly checking that, you need to be dialing those numbers yourself. To see
it's as simple as if you were to just take a whole day and just straight dial, you'd be able to track how many dials did I make across how many customers picked up, what did those how many appointments did I set, and whatever the difference is, why didn't I set the appointment? And if things between those difference are they bought elsewhere, then you want to look at, well, okay, where you call it was because you were. I mean, you eventually you start to pick up on pattern habits, right? But you're exactly right. Those blind dials. It's either a lot of times it's spam, possible spam, or another thing too, is it might say ABC Chevrolet calling. And you know what? Let me think. I'm a consumer. I got a lot of stuff going on. ABC? I was just doing a little, I got defense. I might not want to pick up ABC Chevrolet right away. So it's that, I sort of separate it as far as, and really, I think if you ask any BDC agent, you can just say this, at the end of a day, an 8-hour shift, how many people blindly pick up the phone for you, right? And that should be like a instinctual question. Same thing this is something else that I look at. How many people actually call you back? They don't text you back. They don't email you back, but they call your voicemail that you told them to call.
Nobody calls anybody back.
I don't know. So these are all things that I get really analytical on, just on a lot of these kind of things. And I'm realizing that that's the name of the game right now, is getting that. For a customer, the way that I look at it, to willingly take their fingertips, put in some type of information on which way website, that was all mental decision. If they have ADD, my gosh, like they had plenty of chances to opt out of that form, right? So something sparked them to do that. But I think what a lot of times happens is the day just gets busy. They don't put it as priority. And then it's, we see these BDCs. I see BDCs all the time when I start to work with them, where they were given processes, but it's just brownie point processes to just chase, and not actually results speak for themselves.
Anthony, let me jump on Anthony a second.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
I bought a car this weekend. I've mentioned that.
Yes.
Starting Friday.
Yes.
Hello, Luke. Starting Friday, I'm looking at aviators on dealers' websites, and a chat box pops up.
Yes.
Can I help you? I said, my name is Jim Ziegler. I'm sort of a big deal. I didn't say it that way, but I'm sort of a big deal. Yeah, I want to speak to your general sales manager, your general manager. Have them call me. Just tell them it's Jim Ziegler. My phone number is, I'm looking to buy an aviator.
Yeah.
I'm looking to buy an aviator. 2 days later, I haven't heard from that dealer.
You weren't clear enough.
Jim, I see it all too often, brother.
Get this. I know you're going to love this, because this is going to hit you right in the gut. You're going to love this. So when I talked to the dealer principal and told him what happened, he said to me, he says, damn it, we got one of them off-site BDCs, and they didn't.
Right? I hear you. Hey, there's a lot of criticism out there. Listen, BDCs in general don't even have a good reputation. They're the redheaded stepchild of a dealership. right? Keep it real.
Ain't nothing wrong with redheads.
And I love redheads, girl. Bad choice of words.
First department to get the blame, last department to get any kind of success or kudos.
Exactly. So it's all too common.
Somebody asked me, what is a good BDC pay plan? I said minimum wage and free pizza.
Absolutely.
Keep in mind, you get what you pay for, though. Trust it. I've had an interesting year to realize that. You know what I've noticed? I was actually on site yesterday, and I just picked up a new dealer group here in New Jersey. I can't mention their name, but I went there at 10 o'clock because I wanted them to be able to get through their fresh leads, from Sunday and Monday. I didn't get to start training until 11 a.m. because they didn't finish answering their leads until 11 a.m. And I said, out of curiosity, what is your response time goal? You know what their answer was? We like to keep it around 30 minutes. And that's all too often in the industry. And that's with a lot of top performing dealerships too. And listen, business development is really hard inside of a dealership because of communication. It's really hard outside of the dealership because of communication as well. We're like a football team. We are like an offense, a defense, and a special teams. And we all have to work out of the same playbook. Unfortunately, there's usually 3 different playbooks inside of a dealership. And it's not like we're talking rocket science here. We're talking about setting appointments. And I agree with Elise. Contact is definitely the hardest part.
You agree with Elise?
I sure do. There's a lot of things I agree with her on.
No.
Listen, Jim, my philosophy is 2 + 2 is not the only way to get to 4, right? So there's a lot of different ways to do things. And
that's New Jersey math.
Right? Exactly. And you say, lie, what they say, figures never lie until liars start to figure, right? I remember that from you.
Yeah.
I agree that it's a contact sport. And honestly, the pandemic has actually increased our contact rate because of the shortage of vehicles. Usually when you're on the phones dialing out, you're getting between a 10 and 15% contact percentage, give or take a few percentage points out of all the attempts that you make. So generally I see my dealerships never really going over 25% contact rates too often and never really under 10%. It just depends on how good you are at leaving voicemails, how good your email templates are, how good your text message templates are, and how personal you're going to get.
Wait, really? 25% contacted?
Sometimes, yeah. Let me tell you something. BMW or Bakersfield is amazing with what they do. You should see the closing percentage on your leads. Mike Udell is a genius.
So why are we wasting advertising dollars on those lead sources that aren't generating contacts? That doesn't make sense. BMW probably get about 200 leads now a month. He's cut out most of his leads, which is why
there's no need to advertise anymore. There's no need to advertise it.
No,
if you're
get rid of Auto Trader.
You're being market driven.
Max just said there's no need to advertise anymore. Max.
Because, guys, listen, again, this is just reality, right? If you look at it from the dealer's perspective, right? Why would you spend advertising dollars right now?
Hey, let me make something coming. Hang on a second. Max, hang on 1 second. 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Max Zanan, the Mad Russian. No matter what subject we're talking about, Max will pee on your birthday cake.
There's got to be a story behind that.
It really does.
Max, can now elaborate.
That is awesome.
Listen, I mean, I'm sure if you speak to dealers, you will hear that they're cutting advertising budgets. They're, going through cancellations with aggregators. They're going through cancellation with digital retail providers. Because like I said last week, this inventory shortage will set back digital retail by a decade.
Yeah.
And when inventory shortage will be fixed, while these guys are laughing and thinking it's going to last forever, Teslas and Carvanas and Vrooms of the world are getting better and better and better.
And then Max,
I wouldn't include Vroom in that bucket, but
fine, let's take Vroom out.
No, I wanted to touch on this because I wanted to bring this up last week. Obviously, I couldn't. You said this whole pandemic thing, the inventory shortage, it's going to set digital retailing back 10 years. I think we've been set back digital retailing for decades already. We're already asking. We're now creating this new way for people to buy cars. They have to fill out all this information, yet we've been complaining about them not even filling out a form fill on our website. and we can't even answer the original question that they sent us about is the car still available.
Yep.
And we want to ask them to fill out all this information about a digital retailing, and we can't even let them know if the car is cobalt blue or electric blue because we don't take enough time to go out there and look at the car and actually.
I agree with Patrick wholeheartedly. But
Yes.
I think the answer is so simple, right? And all of us, I think, know the answer, right? But nobody, like Jim says, nobody has the testicular fortitude to actually do it.
The testicular fortitude. I've made that a buzzword.
Right.
Awesome.
So the answer is so simple, right? If you want to buy anything online, right? Forget cars. You want to buy anything online, you're going to end up buying it without negotiating, whether it's Amazon, Bloomingdale's, or Macy's, right? Car business is no different. Unless the dealer has the courage to go to one price model, all of this is a waste of time. Right? Because unless I can put something in the shopping cart and check out, right? This is not digital retail. It's something else masquerading as digital retail.
It's just
digital retail.
The
Retail part is missing.
You know, I think my perspective on this whole digital retailing thing, I don't know that we're set back because I don't know we ever got there.
Right.
And realizing I was part of the automotive group who sold the very first Chevrolet on Shop Click Drive a gajillion years ago before anybody was talking about Carvana. I mean, it took us 9 months of being on this product to deliver one unit 100% online. And note, even before Shop Click Drive came around, one of our divisions were specialty collectibles pre-owned sports cars. We had our own car haul. We were selling cars and shipping them all over the lower 48 before anybody even said one damn word about digital retailing. It's just retailing. You need to figure out a way to fill the need for your customers. Technology aside.
Amen.
We weren't even there.
Yeah.
What you talking?
And you know, and it goes back into a point. I think Jennifer, you made the point last week about it. Is that, you know, when we build out these sites and now we're creating this digital marketing way for people to do it, we're building it in a way that works for us, for our opinions about what we think the customer wants to do, instead of actually doing and building and constructing these sites and this process around what the customers actually want to do.
Yeah.
And I
You
think
know
that's
who
where
knows
we're
what
saying
the
we're not even there yet.
clicks? Google. Watch what Google's doing with one-click conversions right now. Period. End of story.
Oh, golly. One-click conversions. Google is going to start letting dealers put inventory on GMB, Google My Business. I mean, you don't even need a website.
I mean, you do, but you don't.
Oh,
but you need it for the organic purposes, to what Max was talking about in canceling. And again, I feel like because I have the accounting background, I've always been a penny pincher when it comes to advertising investments or investments, period. Right?
You are cheap.
I am so cheap, and my clients make the most money ever.
The perfect person to have in the office, obviously.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm tell you what, to be so cheap, this woman's got more money than everybody else in the broadcast. I mean,
Right.
She knows how to keep it.
It's buried under all the X's in the backyard. All over the place.
You ever see a cartoon with Scrooge McDuck sitting in the vault throwing money at the
Yes.
That's Jennifer.
I told the lady at the bank the other day, and I just suppose I'm nobody special, right? But I did tell the lady at the bank the other day, I rolled in one of my maxi dresses. And if you know me outside of work, like I'm barefoot in a maxi dress and like maybe a hoodie or a cardigan all the time. And so I roll in and she's like looking at me, and we're working on business accounts. And she's like, I said, oh, don't worry, honey. I'm practicing to be one of those gajillionaires that walks around looking like they're homeless. How am I doing?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Elise, are you leaving us?
Oh yeah, she's got a call she's got to get on, I think.
Oh no.
We got her muted.
Elise, your microphone's off.
There you go. I have a call. I messed up the time but I have a call at a quarter till, so I have a few more minutes.
Gosh, yeah, you got 5 minutes to get ready for that. Okay, you got the big battle royal coming up with Anthony Alagona this coming week. Now, are you going to bury the boy? I mean, are you going to humiliate him?
You know what? Friendly competition. We'll just keep it at that. But if you look,
what day is that?
If you're going to talk about probability and statistics, I don't lose, Jim. So there's that.
Okay, you don't lose, and yeah. So you don't want to say that Anthony's a wuss or a wimp. Or,
I mean, can you give me an example of where I've lost a competition in automotive space?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
Oh my gosh! So if Anthony buries you, it'll be the first time.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of things first time in this industry, Jim.
What date is this going to be taking place, and where do we need to look to find the information?
I'm going to have it on my private Zoom stream, so they could reach out either to Anthony or myself, and where I'm collecting email addresses. It's just going to be New Jersey is East Coast, so from 9 a.m. like all day, right? 9 a.m. It's just going to be a live stream.
East meets West,
but it's not going to be on Facebook. Obviously so it's not like we want to make sure we have accountability for who's on the stream. So you'll need to register. Yeah, you could reach out to Anthony or myself, but it's not going to be on Facebook Live. Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony will probably cheat.
I'm a cheater, bro.
Okay, we got
Jersey.
YouTube.
Wait, I missed what day it was. What day is this going down?
Oh, she comes for training on the 17th.
All right.
17th. They're going to go heads up cage match. They're going to battle the BDC.
It will be fun. We're going to have fun.
BDC Battle Royale.
Oh golly, yeah. Max,
Jim, we're going to give her a taste of the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, we'll get Max to be the referee. Max.
All right, you guys, I'm going to hop off. I appreciate you all so much.
Bye,
Anthony,
Elise.
I'll see you soon.
We're going to talk about you after you leave. Okay. Elise is off the broadcast. Hate that, but she's gone. There we go. All right. Anthony, tell me about this battle royal coming up. What's going to happen?
It should be fun. We're going to go into a dealer CRM. We're going to engage some leads. We're going to set some appointments. And at the end of the day, we're going to put our processes next to each other. And what I told Elise is I want to give the people what they want at the end of the day. At the end of the day, neither one of us is teaching rocket science. It's talking to customers, painting a picture how we're going to over-deliver on the customer experience, and getting them to create a relationship with us so we can transfer that trust. We should have fun with it. I got somebody picking her up from the airport. I got her a nice hotel. I'm hoping she's going to be doing her 75 hard because I'll be on that boardwalk. I got her a hotel right on the boardwalk that's going to overlook me running that boardwalk at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Listen, as a friend, she's got a knee injury. She shouldn't be doing the dang 75 hard.
I agree. I won't let her do it while she's there. But
I almost hopped on a plane to take her butt to the hospital myself, but her mom swooped in and got her there. So
thank God for moms. I tell you, she called me when she hurt her knee, and I was like, "Oh man, I feel for you." And
it was
everybody determined.
Yes, today there's only 2 people actually actively in retail. That's going to be Patrick, and that's going to be Jennifer. Now, Patrick, you're working for an independent lot, correct?
Yeah, actually, we have 2 franchise stores, one here in South Georgia, and then one also in Jacksonville, Florida. And then we have the 5 Highline stores, with the one where my office is where our exotics are.
Okay, so I want everybody to be clear. Patrick is a Highline, high-volume dealer.
Yes.
That operates like a new car franchise dealer.
We have the store that I'm at is a brand new facility, 30,000 square foot. I mean, there isn't a single dealership on Cobb Parkway that is a newer facility than ours.
That's awesome.
Ours, if you looked at our facility, you would be hard pressed to think that it wasn't a manufacturer built dealership.
Tell me about your inventory. What are you stocking?
I mean, I'll put it to you like this. I have 15 cars that are $250,000 or more on the ground. You know what I mean? In the showroom. This store particularly probably close to about $15 million in inventory. Most of our regular stores, I call them regular stores, but most of our initial Gravity stores are all going to be anywhere between the $2 and $5 million inventory range. Obviously, then we have the Nissan store and then the Mitsubishi store down south. But overall, I mean, we're upwards close to $30-35 million in inventory across the group. We sell. Last month, we sold about 700 cars, not including Nissan or Mitsubishi. So 700 used cars across the group is what we sold last month.
Wow.
700 used cars, Highline,
Highline used cars, yep.
I love it.
And, you know, okay.
And I'll tell you,
It's a good business to be in.
Oh no, it's great. And you know, when we go back to the inventory thing now. We have had a harder time finding inventory because, again, you know, especially with, you know, pre-owned Mercedes, BMW, Audis, these cars, we're very picky about the cars that we purchase anyway before all of this happened. Okay, we want to make sure that it's a 4.5 or better CR at the auction. We want to make sure that we can still price, you know, 95 to 100% those first 30 days and then go down from there. And it's been harder to find those cleaner cars just because they're just not out there. However, we do have our sources where we've been able to keep our inventory probably about 70% of where we were pre-COVID level.
Right
Who do you
now.
floor plan with?
I'm sorry?
Who do you floor plan with?
I have no idea. That's above my area.
Was that
Well, that's where the Nissan and Mitsubishi stores come in. Those better floor plan rates.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I have nothing to do with the inventory acquisition or sale of. I just make sure that the processes work.
Max just put Patrick in the road to the sale.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you got who do you floor plan with? You know, Max does.
Well, listen, because you know, whoever you floor plan with, you know, they deserve a lot of credit,
Right.
you know, for having, again, the testicular fortitude
To allow it.
floor these used cars. They're going to depreciate.
Well, you know, I'll tell you what, though. Our group has done a very good job. They've only been in the state of Georgia. They've only been in business about 10 years total. And over that 10-year period, they started with one store in Sandy Springs and have now grown it to 5. And now, obviously, the 2 new car stores. And then, obviously, like Jennifer was mentioning earlier, there's going to be dealerships coming available. And I saw her rubbing her hands like that. And that's something that, you know, on the corporate level, they're definitely, you know, they're getting excited about that, too. There's definitely no shortage of flexibilities.
Let me say, let's say goodbye to Anthony a second. Anthony, the 17th. Anthony,
Yes, sir. May 17th.
We've got offsite BDCs, and you and Elise are going to go heads up. I mean, I really hate this. 2 of my favorite people are going tooth and nail. I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Nah, it would be fun.
You know what I'm excited to see about this, guys, is at the end of the day, that dealer is going to get 2 phenomenal people helping them not only, you know, attract customers and possibly sell cars, which is obviously the goal, but their team is going to get an opportunity to watch 2 of the very best in this space, how to actually do it and do it with their leads, not some stream that they're watching from across the country or anything. Elise and Anthony are going to be there with them, working their customers. And I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity, especially for that dealership and those individual staff members, BDC and or sales, to really get some great knowledge and you know, improve their numbers down the line.
Exactly.
Jim, I'm willing to go on the record, Jim, and say that.
Wait a second. Hang on. Max is going to go on the record. Okay, Max.
Right. So I'm willing to go on the record and say that at the end of this battle, both Anthony and Elise are going to get a job offer from the dealer. Right? Because the dealer is going to say, you know, these guys are so good and my guys, you know, they're hopeless. It's cheaper for me to offer them a job than make my guys better. I guarantee you that there'll be 2 job offers at the end of the day.
From your lips to God's ears, my friend.
In 1991, I had a dealer offer me $60,000 a month to manage his 10 stores, and picture 60 grand a month in 1991. Private use of his Bonanza plane, and he would buy my house in Atlanta and relocate me to Denver. I mean, once somebody like us shows a dealer what we can do in the real world in a real dealership, the offers start happening. Anthony.
Hey, Jim, you know what's crazy, Jim?
Broadcast.
You know what's crazy, Jim? We're in 5 days. It's the anniversary when I left our little buddy.
Oh shit!
Okay, yeah. Well, we're not going to. You know,
crazy, right?
There's people out there waiting their whole life for the.
You supported me the whole way through, brother. I appreciate it.
Take care, big guy.
Well, guys,
good catching up, bud.
Okay, now there's 4 of us left.
And then there were 4.
Jennifer, now you're working with a 30-car group. You're working with some of the biggest, best in the country. what's going to happen in the next 3 months? Give me your prognostication.
Well, I think those folks who are aggressive are going to tighten up and get prepared for the wave to crash. I think to Max's point where he said some dealers are backing off of advertising, I actually see some folks taking advantage of that inventory in the advertising space coming available as everybody else lightens up. Those who are incredibly aggressive for market share are actually going to step up and take those spots at discounted rates. I think it's just going to be another one of those highly divisive events this next 3 months. If you're in it to win it, you're going to get better at operating, even though grosses are where they are. And if you're just, what is they say, fat, rich, and good looking, you're going to sit back and collect those grosses and then try and figure out what happened. Yeah. But, I don't work with the latter, only the aggressive dealers. So I know personally, we are seeing, the transition of away from an auction lane to 100% acquisition in a service lane. We are seeing more aggressive calls to action for lease pull-aheads. Listen, inventory is so limited right now. We actually need to start working on what we're going to get you into in 4 months because it's going to take us that long.
I just wrote an article for Digital Dealer Magazine that's coming out next week or so. And talking about acquiring inventory was a big part of the article that I wrote. I would have a full-time employee or employees right now whose job is nothing but acquiring inventory, going on Craigslist, going on Facebook Marketplace, Auto Trader, Consumer Direct. We would be looking for anybody selling a car and not just trading in. We'll buy your car. We'll pay stupid money.
Money,
absolutely ridiculous money for your car.
Well, and honestly, for people who are cheap like me or cost effective, I mean, that's something that we've been doing for a long time. On light lead days in my first internet sales department, I would give them a city and Craigslist to go and call. And this is before Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist was really the only thing, right? Or private listings on Auto Trader used to be a thing. I don't know if there's still a thing because I don't deal in that arena. So, and then said, okay, call and make me some trade appointments. But, I've got one of my stores where prior to all of this, we had 2 dedicated staff members and they're purchasing about an average of 30 cars a month out of the service lane. And I mean, I would love to be able to see that 60.
Jennifer, I got to tell you, everybody's concentrating on the service lane. I mean, that's a great source of potential.
Oh, they're not really concentrating, Jim. They talk about it, but they don't do it. They don't do it. Yeah. My good friend Jim Ziegler once said, "We don't have a knowing problem; we have an execution problem." They know they should be.
They know what to do. They're not doing it.
Some brilliant guy said that. We don't have a knowing problem; we have a doing problem. Execution problem.
And Jennifer, it's funny you brought up the when you first ran an internet department, you'd have your team, go in and basically call out for inventory acquisition. And it reminded me of when I first started selling cars, my dad, before he would let me take a phone up or a lot up, again, this is before the internet, he gave me an Auto Trader magazine. Remember when they used to have the magazines? And he said, before you take a lot up or you take a phone up for one of my customers that I paid to get in here, and you don't know what you're doing yet, he says, you're going to set 10 appointments out of this Auto Trader magazine for people to come in and trade their cars in.
Yep.
And that's what I had to do before my dad would even let me go out and pick up the phone on an inbound phone call. And it just reminded me. And then I remember that was one of the prerequisites that allowed me to become so good on the telephone, because you have to overcome objections so quick. Because they already don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, we did the same thing off of photocopies of the ROs. And we didn't have a CRM, so the cashier would make those copies.
Let me jump on Max a second here. Max, where's all this headed? Next 90 days. Tell me what's going to happen.
So I think nothing will change because the inventory shortage will be there, and this 90 days will make some dealers feel even more invincible and even more brilliant. So, you know, and I think the same goes even for the next 180 days. Because from what I'm reading, it doesn't look like this microchip shortage can be easily fixed in a timely manner. So the longer it goes on, the more damaging it will be once they fix it.
Yeah.
Right? Because the domino effect will be just unbelievable. But at the same time, you know, and maybe I'm being naive, you know, but I truly hope that dealers can lobby the manufacturers, right, and say, guys, look at the last 12 months. We've never made more money, right? You know, and only because you don't shove cars down our throat. I don't need a purple Dodge Neon, right? Let me have a tight inventory. Let me sit on 45-day supply. Right? Don't do 120 days. You know, I understand they're going to bonus their sales.
Max, the manufacturers are never going to buy that argument.
I don't care.
That's why I prefaced it by saying that maybe I'm being naive. You know, but if the deal is really, and at this point, I think any dealer, whether you're a highline dealer or a mass dealer, right? It doesn't matter. Everybody understands that shortage of inventory is good for business.
Who is the stupidest, most clue-impaired manufacturer? My opinion, based on statistics and the fact that I have an IQ higher than an earthworm. You know, who is the most stupid manufacturer about overproducing inventory right now?
I'm going to say that, you know, based on the last couple of years, Nissan's got to be it.
Nissan. I was thinking the same thing. Nissan. These people haven't seen the ball since the kickoff.
Right.
I mean,
right.
They overproduce inventory. They can't sell. They mistreat their dealers. That's all my opinion, but still.
But look at Nissan dealers now. Again, because of this shortage of inventory, they were able to clear out cars that probably had 1, 2, or even 3 birthdays on their lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, there's still some out there that are having another birthday.
Exactly.
So again, listen, I just hope that dealers, you know, will really, you know, the problem with car business is that it's extremely fragmented, right? Because there are 18,000 rooftops. There are 900 Nissan dealers, you know, and none of them are on the same page. But this is the time to really bond together and say to the manufacturer, guys, let us do what we do, and we can only be as effective when there's a shortage of inventory. Right? And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, they can give them their financial statements, right? And OEMs get the financial statements. They know that this is the truth, right? This is no longer my subjective opinion, right?
Well,
inventory
yeah, but whose profit model do they care about? Whose profit model do they care about?
Exactly.
I understand, but look at Nissan, right? Nissan destroyed its brand. Nissan destroyed customer experience. There's no longer a loyalty to a Nissan automobile, right? It became a program car. Well, I'm going to drive a Nissan Rogue because the lease program is $199 a month. But do I really want a Rogue? No, I'm dying to get a Honda CR-V. Right. But it's $299, right? Because Honda is not giving stuff away, right? So Nissan is the best example of an OEM that should have learned the lesson, what not to do, and the inventory shortage is another example of really what to do, right? And now I think Nissan dealers have never been happier.
For change.
Right. Right.
For change.
Right.
Listen, guys. We've been on an hour and 5 minutes. We are way over our time. What do you think of the Dawg Pound, Patrick?
I love it. You know, I love it. I wish I could have been on last week. And I look forward to continuing the conversations as we move forward. And I like the fact that I can do it uninterrupted now. I don't know.
Every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, right here on where you're watching it right now. And we're going to continue to do the Dawg Pound. Everybody on right now is one of the regulars. I'll still be having guests come and go. The other 2 regulars, David O'Brien and Bobbie Herron, will be back next week, hopefully. If not, I'll replace them with a really relevant guest like we had Anthony on today. Elise is one of the regulars. So anyway, the Dawg Pound. Say goodbye, folks.
Thumbs up. Jim, by the way, I wanted to say your background screen looks really good at first, until you moved, I literally thought you were sitting in a garage in front of a Super Bee or something.
Well,
it looks really good.
I actually had a 1968 Super Bee. I mean, of all the cars and I was 21 years old, got in a lot of trouble with that car. This was my memory car, the one I remember. Everybody has one they remember. Yeah. I had GTOs, I had Corvettes, I had Lincoln Town cars, I had Escalades, I had all sorts of prestigious fast cars otherwise, but the Super Bee is the one I remember.
The one that sticks out, yep.
Everybody has that car you remember.
Yep.
Anyway, I just got a brand new Lincoln Aviator, which is the car I've been wanting to get. I can buy anything I want, any car I desire.
Nice.
I've been wanting an Aviator. I finally got one. Okay, guys.
All right, Tim.
Everybody here, 2 p.m. next Tuesday. Tell your friends about this show. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye.